Good morning. I am in the process of exploring a park that is new to me. It's been here for quite a while in Salem. It's called Joryville Park, and it is one of the county parks here. It's a very forested location. I've been following some trails and taking a few shots here and there. Lots of birds. You might be able to hear those. I use the Merlin bird app to do the sound ID, see how many I get. Quite a list. I'll go ahead and put those here in the video as well so that you can see what we've got. But anytime I'm going to continue on the trail, I'm probably about halfway, kind of at the top of the hill. But I figure I'll bring you along and we can go from there. So happy day, come along with me. So, as I've been walking the trails here, I've been more or less keeping to what I call an always left. So when I come to a fork in the path, I go left. If it's a dead end and I turn around, it does take me right back where I can get on the next trail that would have been to the right, because now it's to the left. So just a little tip, if you find yourself exploring and want to make sure that you are finding your way back, if you always go left, then you can also return by always going right when you're done, if you come to a complete dead end and are finished with that. So anyway, I'm going to carry on and see if I can find some photos. Anybody want to go for a ride? It's at the edge of the park. It might actually be outside of the boundary. Not 100% sure. A little golf cart down to the rims. Nothing but metal here, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, I think a shot or two. You know, that's kind of fun. Alright, so what I've come across on the trail here, kind of off to the side with all the ferns and everything, we've got these little purple flowers. You probably can't see that here on the video, but they're small. I'm not sure what they are. I'll try to get an ID and put that up here. But I'm getting in here and trying to go ahead and get some shots. The light's pretty dim here, amongst the trees, of course. So I've actually bumped up to ISO 800 and still not getting a very fast shutter speed, but kind of trying to rely on a little bit of image stabilization here to see what we can get. But I've got a few different clusters of these that I'm hoping will actually turn out to be something decent. So let's see if I can actually show that here. And got a little bit the main flowers, and we've got some out of focus cluster right there as well. So now we've got a little bit of wind picking. Now we've got a little bit of wind picking up to move these. So even with the image stabilization, I don't know that's going to work. But I think I've got a handful of shots that are actually going to be okay. So I'm going to go ahead and continue on, and we'll see what we get as we explore this. A little bit of location scouting, out for a nice hike. I've already made it back to kind of the entrance of the park where I had come in earlier, and rather than going back to the car, I went back on the path because I had taken a trail off to the left and it had come back to the main trail, so I didn't know if there was anything I missed. Sure enough, there was a trail to the right that I missed because I didn't go that way. So broke my rule, went to the right, and then went to the left when that teed. So I'm going to continue on and see what else I get. All right, so the trail managed to lead me back to somewhere I'd already been. Took a left, and came back here. I've already been down here. There's a trail of stumps that kind of go through this area here with the water. I'm not going to do that. The water's not all that deep. However, it's a little sketchy just to get started. And with this heavy pack on my back, there's just no way. Perhaps on a different day, if I got like some water shoes, something like that, wouldn't be too bad to go through there, even just go right through the water instead of trying to do the stumps. So still a little bit more that I want to explore here. Try to get back up to the trail that I just came back down and go up and follow that up again. I'm going to be taking some rights to get back to where I was so that I can continue on the trail that was up a little bit higher and see where that gets me. Trying to explore as much of this park as possible and see what there is. Like I say, there's a lot of birds. I can hear them constantly. There's certainly variety of trees and different plants. A few flowers here and there, but not too much. We're kind of past probably the peak on some of the flowers, I think. So I'm going to continue, and if I'm lucky, I will actually see some birds, other wildlife that actually wants to stay still long enough to get photos. So, and if that happens, I'll be able to change lenses and try to get some of that as well. So until next time, I'm walking on, and we'll see what I get. I'm done with the trails here. I'm gonna take a seat. Give me a moment to adjust the microphone here. I'll go ahead and get this off my back, take a seat here. And maybe we can talk a little bit. So today's outing, I don't know, what have I been here? 2.5 hours, I think. Very nice little wooded park here, kind of, in the city of Salem. Lots of trails going every which way. I may or may not have hit every trail. I don't know. I doubled back on a few of them, certainly did a lot of backtracking, and not just to get some of that wonderful footage of me walking that you want to see so badly, but certainly the backtracking on some of the trails gave me a lot of extra walking. And speaking of which, I'm gonna take a look here. I mentioned before that I use the Google Fit app to track my walks. Actually 3 hours here and 3.2 miles. So that's not a bad morning walk. I like that. Get out and get some exercise. But yeah, still hearing a ton of birds. So again, as promised, I'm going to go ahead and put the list of the birds that the Merlin Bird ID app heard, and I'll go ahead and put them up over here, and we can just go ahead and watch those for a little bit. All right, now that's a lot of birds. Haven't seen too many people here at the park. There's more now, certainly, but I've only really encountered 3 or 4. Saw some more people walking along here as I was finishing up, though. So, all right. So while I'm here, I wanted to talk a little bit about one of the camera features. In a previous video, I tried out the in-camera HDR feature that Canon has. Go ahead and watch that video if you haven't already. But one of the other features I wanted to kind of talk about and take a look at here is in-camera raw processing, and just kind of put a question out there as far as how do you share your photos on the go? If you're taking them with the camera, you want to get them to someone very quickly. You don't necessarily have time to get them back to the computer and processed. What are you doing? Typically, what I have done is use the Canon Camera Connect app and connect that and actually download the image to my phone, use Snapseed or another app to process it, and then email it, upload it, whatever, made from that. But I'm wondering if that's a better route to go, or the Canon does have the option to process the raw images in the camera and save another JPEG from that file. So I wanted to walk through the raw processing on the Canon camera and do a comparison. I will basically grab the same photo, pull it out, use Snapseed, and process it like I would normally, and then I'll also get this on to the computer and process it in Lightroom and see what goes on. I'm going to put these up and kind of let you take a look and let me know in the comments, is it acceptable? Or, you know, for the in-camera processing, for Snapseed, is that okay? Obviously, that's not going to be your final image no matter what. Or just stick to doing it in Lightroom and never share on the fly. So let me turn this on. First thing to do is go into the playback mode and find the image that you want to process. Okay, so to use the raw image processing on the Canon, pull up the images in playback. I'm going to use my phone here to capture some video so that you'll actually be able to see what I'm seeing here on the camera. We're going to hit the menu button, and in the playback menu section, you'll find the raw processing. So with that, we'll go ahead and select the images. I'm just going to select the one image that I already have here displayed. So I hit set, and the Q button puts me into the next stage. I'm going to go ahead and set up processing and go to JPEG. Now I have the option to do brightness. I can do plus or minus up to 1 stop. I'm going to go ahead and tell it, yeah, I think -3rd should be good. Use my joystick here to go through the different settings. I've got noise reduction, which I'll leave alone. I can change the image quality, so if I want to save it as a smaller size, I can do that. I'm just going to leave it at the full size for this purpose. I can change between sRGB and Adobe RGB and color space. I've got picture style settings, so if I'm shooting normally on faithful, I can definitely go ahead to auto, standard, portrait, landscape, fine detail, whatever setting I might want on that. So I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to go back. Clarity, we can do some plus or minus clarity. I'm going to do a +2 on that. I believe it goes up +4, -4. Lens aberration correction, so you can do some lens corrections here as long as the lens you have supports that, I believe. We'll go back. I'm not going to touch that. And then we have auto lighting optimizer. Again, I'm not using that normally, so I'm not going to use it on this edit. And then I have the option to save. So not a lot here. The only thing I've done is the brightness and the clarity. I'm going to go ahead and save it as a new file. I'm not going to continue image processing because that's the only one I'm doing. And I'm going to go ahead and say, yes, I want to display just the original image instead of the processed image. Or I can take it directly to the processed image. All right, so that's a quick run through on how to do that image processing in the camera. Now, what I typically do is jump into the Canon Camera Connect app on the phone. I have to take my camera off of airplane mode, mind you, so that I can actually connect to it. And okay, so we're connected. I'm going to tell it images on camera. That'll connect to the Wi-Fi on the camera itself. So yep, I want to connect. All right, so now that I see the images, I'm going to go down to Hopefully I'm catching the same one, mind you, that I did before. I'm going to go ahead and say, okay, that's the one I want. I'm going to import. Now with the Canon Camera Connect, when I import, it automatically goes to the reduced size, or I can do original size. I usually just do the reduced because it's going to do a JPEG either way. I'm going to say, okay. Now it says, hey, open the photo app. Yeah, why not? And I'm going to just open it straight into Snapseed. Which doesn't work. I need to remember that. You can't open it straight into Snapseed. You must go ahead and pull it there. So now I've opened it Snapseed, and so I can use the tools to tune my image. It's going to give me a little bit more flexibility because I do have options to do, like say, some saturation. And so I'm just going to do, like say, real quick on here, details, which gives me some structure, similar to adding some clarity there and some sharpening, and call it good. And then I'll export and save a copy. So now that I've done that, I've got the in-camera processed JPEG. I've got a Snapseed JPEG. And then I'll also do a Lightroom JPEG and put all three up for you to compare. Now at this point out in the field, whether I've done it through Snapseed or the in-camera raw processing, I'm going to still need to get it to my phone so I can share it. So again, I'll be using that Camera Connect either method that I use, whether I'm doing the JPEG in the camera and then transferring it so that I can share, or if I'm copying a JPEG with no edits and then editing it. So I'm not going to do anything more to these two files, the Snapseed and the in-camera file, beyond what I've already done. And I will try to do a very simple edit in Lightroom so it's very similar, and show those. Okay, so with that, I'm going to sign off, say goodbye. This is, again, Joryville Park in Salem, Oregon. It's one of the county parks, not a city park. Forested area. Didn't get a lot in the way of photos today, just a few things here and there. But this place is loaded with wildlife in terms of the birds. They are just all over the place, so you can hear them, which is amazing. The important thing though is to get out. I had, a day off from work, wanted to get out, didn't know where to go, and finally landed on this location. Figured I'll give it a try. I've never been here. I really like it. May not be the best for photography, at least not today, but it's a great little park. So again, let me know what you think about some of the photos I've done. Like I said, I'm going to have the photos that I've taken on camera, and then of course several that I took before I started video, and even during that I didn't bother videoing. So let me know what you think of the photos, and leave comments below. Feel free, if you're moved by it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. I'd really appreciate that. I'm getting closer to 100. Still a very small channel, so every little bit helps at this stage. And share it with your friends if you want as well. I certainly do appreciate that. But anyway, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. I'm glad you've made it this far. Have a great day, and God bless you.